So, Yanka, give us the latest. We now know that the case has been postponed to the 29th.
Yes, the case actually just wrapped up. It was postponed until Friday, when there will be a judgment on the application for a discharge. But I have with me here my colleague Malungelo Boy, who's been in court for most of the day. We heard the application brought by the defence, and then the state, I understand, opposed this application for discharge.
That's right. In fact, it's the state that made that had the final say, actually. One of the things they were saying was that there's no way that Mr. Zuma should be granted this discharge. In fact, saying that he has a case to answer for. At the end of the day, somebody died in this case. They're saying, remember the defense earlier discrediting all the witnesses, the state witnesses in this matter. Well, the state coming out saying that actually the state witnesses that took to the podium or at the stand here actually collaborated each other's version of events on that day. But what also the state is pointing out to here is that it was in fact raining on that day, and that it was the responsibility of Mr. Zuma to make sure that he drove in a way that that accident does not happen. He's saying that the law is clear. You look around you all the times, you pay attention to the road, and they're saying that Mr. Zuma in this case failed to pay attention, and hence there was this crash.
And again, the defence saying that he could not have foreseen that there would be a pool of water on the highway, and also paying a lot of attention to whether the Porsche could have prevented or could have handled these wet conditions.
In fact, it's quite interesting because the defence went as far as to say this Porsche, this model, had defects. In fact, that's the word he used, defects, and that it had the propensity of going on a plane, and hence Porsche is actually re-looking and putting the wet mode warning on the latest models of this vehicle because of its propensity of this danger, saying that Mr. Duduzane Zuma had no idea at the time that his vehicle had this effect. But the state saying that, come on, this vehicle is a luxury car which has so many safety features this driver of the vehicle should have been aware of from the start.
And back to the pool of water, we heard that they said that he drove through this pool of water and that's when he lost control, but none of the expert could really point to the fact that it wasn't there, because the expert that they relied on was only on the scene a couple of an hour or two later.
In fact, the expert that had arrived at the scene, I mean, he had been there just before 12 o'clock, if my memory serves me right. That's 12 midnight. The accident had happened at around 10 o'clock, and he himself considered that when he arrived at the scene of that accident, he did not see this puddle of water. Bear in mind, though, some of the witnesses that took to the stand here did say that when that accident happened, when they got out of that accident, they were actually in water. In fact, even Duduzane Zuma himself saying that he lost control of his vehicle because he hit this puddle of water.
Just the support for Duduzane Zuma in court today, what did you see?
Well, we've seen yesterday, interestingly enough, the former president was not around, but today he was also around. We also saw Duduzane's sister in court supporting him, but also there's supporters from the BLF that have also been here from the start of this case. But also what we're seeing in court is the family of the deceased, Upumzile Dube, listening to every detail that's coming out of this trial.
Okay, well, thank you very much for keeping an eye on proceedings inside court. We expected the trial to run until Friday, but it was just postponed to then. We will not be back here tomorrow because the court will be considering that application to discharge Duduzane Zuma in the meantime.
All right, Yanka, just a quick one. What sort of support did he have with the BLF there as well?
Not not so many BLF supporters we've seen, as Malungelo mentioned earlier. In the previous appearances, even last year, there was a couple of supporters who came out, emotions running high outside court. Yesterday, we saw about 20 members, but it was only a couple who attended the court proceedings today.
All right. Yanka Tome, thank you so much, along with Malungelo Boy there, reporting to us from the Randburg Magistrates Court.